everyone, and thank you for attending today's Adobe webinar. Presenting to you all today will be Alex Page. My name is Aubrey, and I'm going to be your host for the day. Before we begin, I want to cover a few housekeeping items. First, Alex will be screen sharing his presentation today. If you're having difficulty seeing his screen, please be sure the media player widget is open. At the bottom of your audience console are multiple application widgets you can use. If you have any questions during the webinar, you can submit your questions in the Q&A box, and they will be answered in the Q&A portion at the end of the presentation. You can also expand your slide area by clicking on the Maximize icon on the top right of the slide viewer. If you have any technical difficulties, please click on the Help widget. Lastly, if you would take a moment to fill out the survey at the end of the webinar, we would greatly appreciate it. And with that, I will pass it off to Alex Duffus to start today's presentation. Thank you.
Thanks, Aubrey. Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, hosted by Insight and Adobe. Today is the Alex and Alex Show. My name is Alex Duffus, and I'm the Senior Channel Account Manager for Adobe. And my role is managing the Insight relationship with Adobe. In a few moments, as Aubrey said, we will turn this webinar over to Alex Page, Senior Solutions Consultant for Adobe, who will give a live demo on today's topic. Insight and Adobe have had a long-standing relationship in North America and around the world, and we're pleased to present today's webinar focusing on one of our most popular and ubiquitous products, Acrobat Pro. As many of you are well aware, Acrobat Pro is a complete all-in-one PDF and e-signature solution that can give your organization access to essential PDF tools across desktop, web, and mobile so they can stay connected and productive from anywhere. Additionally, Acrobat Pro can protect systems and data with enterprise-grade security and compliance. Whether your teams are on-site, remote, or hybrid, Acrobat Pro delivers 100% digital document workflows so they can work securely from anywhere. Overall, there's a number of key benefits of deploying Acrobat Pro within your organization: boosting team productivity, again, enabling anybody in your organization to view, edit, sign PDFs anywhere, anytime, on any device; empower collaboration in real time, give users the tools they need to share PDF files online or in Microsoft Teams and collaborate with team members on a single document in real time; work more efficiently in Microsoft apps, and connections empower teams to easily create high-quality, password-protected PDFs and send them out for e-signature directly in 365, or quickly convert PDF files to editable Word, Excel, PowerPoint files, and then be able to create, export, organize, and protect those PDFs directly in Microsoft Teams. Or work smarter with some of the leading business apps. Make it easier for everyone to access, edit, and store files directly in Microsoft OneDrive, Google Drive, Box, Dropbox, etc., while working in Acrobat Pro or on desktop or mobile. And then finally, additional features, adding e-signatures to the digital document workflow, right? Help your organization accelerate business by collecting and signing using unlimited e-signatures, tracking approvals in real time, requesting trusted e-signatures from multiple signers on one agreement, or creating web forms to collect e-signatures. All of those are just kind of overall some of the benefits within Acrobat Pro. But today's focus will be on the unmatched security that Adobe Acrobat can offer your organization. So as a preview, Alex is going to take us through many of the security features within Acrobat Pro, like redaction and document sanitation, control the information in your documents by adding password protection or redacting sensitive content, secure file sharing via the web version of Acrobat, mobile device management tools for the mobile version of Acrobat, to ensure work on mobile stays secure with best-in-class mobility management, files sent for signature, the exchange of files, and the security and audit trails available to you when deploying Acrobat Pro, and then finally, integration and security available in the collaboration between Adobe Acrobat and Microsoft Teams. So this is a preview of what Alex is going to take us through. So enough of my yakking. I will turn it over to Alex Page, who will take you through a live demo.
Hello, everybody. Everybody hears me okay, I'm going to assume. So today, by the way, I am Alex Page, Alex number 2. So today I want to cover some of the many ways that Acrobat allows you to securely create, share, and interact with PDFs. So whether you're on the desktop or the web or on a mobile device, Acrobat really does solve for your security concerns, and it's going to keep your information secure. So today I want to show you Acrobat security features and how easy it is to employ them. So let's start here with the desktop version of Acrobat Pro. But before I do get into the security features specifically, I do want to do a quick overview of Acrobat Pro just to show you how easy it is and get you familiar with it. So this is the UI of my desktop version. And the home page, this is where I land when I open up Acrobat. Then across the top, you can see some quick links to some of the main tools that we have in Acrobat. So you can edit a PDF, create a PDF, can combine files, request e-signatures, and fill and sign. Now over on the left-hand menu, you can access your specific files. So here's all my recent files. You can go to starred files. And these are just files that you've deemed important. So they've been shared, or maybe they've been shared to you. They're files that you're going to reference a lot. Here I can see all of the files that I've saved into the document cloud. So I can see all of my files saved into the cloud. I can see any scans that I have. Maybe I used Adobe Scan to bring them in here. Probably did. Can see any files that were shared, that I shared, or that were shared by others to me. And then moving down, I can also see any of my signed agreements. And this would take you to the Acrobat Sign integration, which I'll show you a bit. And also, there's storage options. So I can decide whether my files are stored locally on my computer or with my integration with OneDrive. Or if I want to, I can always integrate with Box, Dropbox, with Google Drive, OneDrive, which I already have, or SharePoint. Okay, now when I go to tools, this is where I can access all of my tools for Acrobat. And there is so much versatility with Acrobat, it's kind of crazy. Okay, so together, these tools are going to allow you to create PDFs, you can combine files, you can organize your pages, move them wherever you want, you can edit and export PDFs, you can scan and take advantage of our OCR, which is our optical character recognition. So it'll turn any scan into a working type PDF. And then you can also add rich media. Now you can also sign and certify in various ways. So you can request e-signatures, you can fill and sign a document, you can prepare a form, and you can also add certificates. There's also many ways to communicate with and share PDFs. So whether you're sending for comments, whether you're sending comments yourself, or creating stamps, or the compare file features. This is hugely popular because it takes a lot of the guesswork out of comparing files, and using the measure tool. Now there also are many options to protect your PDFs, and I'm going to talk in depth about all of these later. So I'll talk about the protect tool. There's a redaction tool. You can set your PDF standards. You can optimize them so you get fast or slow download times, and that would reflect the quality of the PDF. But you also can set for making these print production ready, and then make them accessible. Making them accessible makes them, you're going to broaden your reach on who's going to be able to be exposed to your content. And lastly, there's customization tools that allow you to get specific to your goals. So you can create a custom tool set, as I've done here. You can create an action wizard, and that's to set up specific behaviors. And index, you can also include JavaScript and more. Now, if you look over here on the right-hand panel, I pinned my most frequently used tools, and you can do this also. So basically, you can customize your UI just by hitting the Add button. See if there's any that I haven't added. Yeah, here's one, certificates. So if I hit that, then now that appears over into my custom tool set over here. So once again, this UI is super friendly, but don't let that friendliness fool you. It's also very, very versatile. Now, one of the tenets that is a part of Acrobat Pro is its seamless integration across web and mobile devices. So when you're working with PDFs, having the right tools is essential. What's equally important, though, is not only to easily access those tools, but to have them at your fingertips no matter where you are. So that way business keeps moving forward. So to that end, I want to show you how the Acrobat experience is consistent no matter where you are. So I'll go to my web version. This is my web version. Okay, and I can have this online experience. There's a little icon up here. This is the Chrome Extension Edition, the Acrobat extension for Google Chrome it's called. So you can just go grab that so you can have this experience. So here I am in my web version, and I can still see all of my files, all of my recent files. I can see my starred files, my shared files. I can still see tools up here at the top. I can go to all of my tools, and I can see they're grouped according to apps, according to their editing capabilities, their conversion capabilities, signature capabilities. And in here at the top, is, I always like to point out, it's everywhere, is the protection tool. Okay, when I go home, I can still, where do I want to go? So still go to my documents, and I can still see all of my storage options are here also. Okay, so got all my tools. Everything looks pretty good from the desktop version to the online version. Now I'm going to go to my tablet. So I'm on my tablet, and you can see that this looks remarkably the same. So I still see all of my files. I still can access all of my tools here. You go to tools, and they're all there. And by the way, they are grouped according to their platform. So they can group them according to the desktop tools, to the mobile tools that I have, and also to all of the web tools. So I always just leave it at view all. But I just like to show this off. You can see that it's a very consistent experience across all of your devices. So, and I love the document cloud. I mean, everything is where it's supposed to be, and I can just focus on that work no matter where I am, and then I can collaborate with others no matter where they are. So that's pretty good. Okay, so let's talk security, because creating and sharing PDFs across all platforms, that's all well and good, but if you can't do any of those things with the utmost complete security, there's really no value in that capability at all. And at Adobe, we do know this, okay? And that's why we put security at the top of the list of what's important in your Acrobat experience. So I'm going to go to my Acrobat Pro. And let's take a look at the first security feature, which is the Protect tool. So I'm going to go to my tools and go to Protect. And I'm just going to go grab a file off. I'll grab it off of my desktop. Okay, this is just your garden variety NDA. So here are the terms, and here's where people are going to sign and things like that. So the Protect tool, it is designed to protect customers from any malicious code that attempts to use the PDF format to read or write from a computer's file system. So Acrobat gives you a few ways to protect your PDFs. And the most basic way, if you look at the top menu bar here, is to protect using a password. So when I click on this, I now can select a password for viewing or for editing. And all I need to do is just make up a password, just type it in here, and then retype it. And then when I hit apply, that user now needs to enter that password in order to access the PDF. So for more advanced options, I can click on here. And now I can also encrypt with a password and encrypt with a certificate. So I'm going to start with encrypt with a password. One thing I want to mention is, as a side note, when I was learning all about Acrobat security, I did get a little confused here. And I was asking myself, you know, what's the difference, man, between the password protection feature that I just showed you all and the encrypted password protection that I'm going to show you now? So here it is. A password protected document is a method of securing that document, but if you've got someone who really wants to access it with malware, etc., they probably really could do that. But having said that, password protection still means that only authorized users, or the ones that know that password, can access the desired information. So this is appropriate in certain circumstances. Now, encrypted password protection, it's more secure. So encryption is just an added level of security over your password protection. And what that does is alters the underlying character of a string. And that makes it nearly impossible to comprehend, at least not without a mechanism to decipher that file so that it can be read by the intended party. And encryption really means just to translate that data into a secret code, and then to read that encrypted file, you need a decryption key to decipher that code. So that's what we're doing here. So I'm going to start with a document password. It's also known as a user password because it requires a user to have a type of password to open up a PDF. So I'll just put in a password here. But notice that my meter over here, my password meter, says that's a terrible password. That's weak. So I'm going to put in a better one. And notice how my meter now is a lot more agreeable. So that's good. So now I can go down to my options here. And these are my compatibility options. What this does is this will select the type of encryption that's used. So the rule of thumb is you should pick a version of Acrobat that's compatible with the recipient's versions. Acrobat 6 and 7, those are pretty old. I'm thinking like 2005. I'm not 100% sure, but Acrobat 10 and later, that's a pretty safe bet. So what this allows you to do, now you have the options here to encrypt all of the document contents. And that means that all of the contents of this document are going to be encrypted and search engines will not be able to access it. Your second option here is to encrypt all document contents except the metadata. So that means that all of the components of that doc will be encrypted, but search engines are going to be able to access the metadata. And then the third option here is to encrypt only the file attachments. So that means that the rest of the doc is going to be unencrypted. So you have a lot of options here just with your what you can choose to encrypt. Okay, now I mentioned there's 2 passwords here. So I'm going to go up here, and I'm also going to look at permissions passwords. This is the second type. So this allows you to require a password in order to change any permission settings. So using this, the permissions password, you can restrict printing, you can restrict editing, copying content in the PDF at all. And recipients, by the way, do not need a password to open a document in Reader or Acrobat, but they do need a password to change restrictions that you've set here. So to put that all simply, you can keep people from changing your PDF, or you can allow them to change it, and you've got ways that you can make those determinations of what they can change. So for instance, you can allow for low res or high res printing. You can allow no changes, or you can allow for inserting, deleting, and rotating pages. You can allow for the form, filling in of form fields, commenting, signing existing form fields, or allowing any changes at all except for extracting pages from that PDF. And you can also allow for the copying of text, images, and other content if you want to, and also enable text access for screen reader services. Anytime you want to communicate a PDF, this helps you broaden your audience from that include the visually impaired. So your password options are many. Okay, if that PDF is secured with both types of passwords, it can be opened with either password. But keep in mind that only permissions passwords are going to allow the user to change any of these restricted features here. One last point about passwords. Because of the added security, setting both types of these passwords is often beneficial, and it is also commonly practiced also. Say I'm going to cancel that. Okay, so I'm going to come up here again, and I'm going to go to my advanced options, and I'm going to now encrypt with a certificate. Okay, so you can use certificates to encrypt documents to verify a digital signature. And a digital signature just assures recipients that that document came from you. Encryption ensures that only the intended recipient also can view those contents. So when you secure a PDF using a cert, you can specify the recipients and define the file access level for each recipient, or if you want to, even for specific groups. So for example, you could allow one group to sign and fill a form and another to edit text or remove pages. And you'll be able to, and I'll show you this, you'll be able to choose certificates from your list of trusted identities, any files you have on disk, even your LDAP server or Windows search store if you go there. So under my certificate security settings, I can first set those general settings here. So I can write in my policy name. I can set a description of why, if I do a lot of these, I want to leave myself a description as to why. And now I've got my options again. So I can encrypt all documents, same as we just saw before with the password. All documents except metadata and only file attachments. Okay, now when I hit next, now I can select my recipients. So I can select myself. And now under permissions, Now I can once again come in here and set my permissions for printing and all of the changes allowed with respect to all the things that I just went over earlier. So, sorry. Okay, so these are 3 simple protection methods, okay, to protect your content. So you can protect using a password, you can encrypt with a password, and you can encrypt with a certificate. Okay, and these are whether your content is visible or not. You can do all these 3 things. Okay, so I've got lots more to talk about. So I'm going to come over here at the top menu and go to Remove Hidden Information. This is going to find and remove hidden content from a PDF. So for example, if you create a PDF, that document metadata normally lists your name as the author. Well, you might not want that to be public information. You also might want to remove content that can inadvertently change or modify that document's appearance. So JavaScript, actions, form fields, they're types of content that are subject to change. So when you select Remove Hidden Information here, on the left-hand menu, it's going to show you the metadata that's hidden and give you the option to remove it. So right now, only my metadata shows up, okay? But if I want to know what it's looking for, I can come up here and go to Show All Items, and this is going to show me all of the items that this feature is looking for. So here you can see it looked for digital signatures, it looked for metadata, file attachments, any bookmarks, embedded search index, comments and markups, form fields, hidden text and layers, deleted or cropped content, links, actions, and JavaScripts, and even overlapping objects. So it checks for a lot of stuff. So when I hit, but it'll note if there is anything that it finds, it will always have a checkbox like metadata does in the box. And then when you hit remove, you can remove them before this doc is sent out and included in the site at all. Okay, under advanced options, these are just quick links to encrypting with a cert or with a password. And under document security, I can refresh my security policies here. I can synchronize offline or revoke. Now, with respect to security policies, here I can come in and I can refresh or set new security policies. So I can set my security methods for either for no security or for my password security, which takes us back to this type of field, and also to certificate security, which we just looked at, and the Adobe Experience Manager document security, as well as the Microsoft Purview information protection. And as I mentioned, also, cancel that, hit OK. Okay, so I'll just cancel that. So that gives you the security options here. Up here, still under advanced options, you can create a security envelope, and then you can send this as an email attachment. So the benefit here with a security envelope is I can encrypt an envelope, but not the documents that are contained within it. So when that recipient can open the security envelope, then they'll have access to all the docs, but those documents aren't going to be encrypted. So that's a lot easier usage for them if that's what they want. Okay, and then lastly, under advanced options, I can manage security policies. And I can manage these security policies either at a user level or at an organizational level. And so here's the thinking behind this. If you often apply the same security settings to multiple PDFs, you can save your setting as a policy here, and then you can reuse it. And security policies, they're going to go a long way. They're going to save time, but they're still going to ensure a consistently secure workflow. And creating policies for password and certificate security, it's going to let you reuse those same security settings for a number of PDFs, number of them. So when I hit new here, then I can select the type of security, whether I'm using passwords, whether using public key certs, or the AEM mobile document security. This is grayed out just because I don't have it integrated yet. So when I hit next, then I can just give my policy a name, make it simple, leave a description for that, and then once again, I can choose these same permissions about what I want to encrypt. All the documents accept the metadata, and accept only file attachments. So let me cancel this. Okay, so that is the Protect tool. As you can see, it does go a long way. It gives you options to protect your PDFs, whether it's with a password or encrypted password protection, removing hidden metadata, or creating security envelopes or security policies that you can reuse, almost like a template. Okay, but as I mentioned earlier, Acrobat is focused on security, and that focus isn't complete with the use of one tool. The protection tool is great. I love it, okay? But it's not all that we do for security. Okay, we also have, under tools, redaction tools. So I'm going to click on this. Okay, so whereas the remove hidden content feature that I just showed you will remove hidden content, this redact tool, it's going to permanently remove visible text and images that are part of the document itself. So your confidential, sensitive information, it's going to be protected. You know, things like phone numbers, credit card numbers, email addresses, that information selected, it's going to be completely removed from the file, not just masked, okay? So a basic redaction process, it's very simple. You just come in here and select your text. And when you do, you'll get this outline around it. And so you know exactly the text that you selected. Get rid of that for a minute. And when you hover over it, you're going to see what that document's going to look like when that document is saved. Also, you can right-click or control-click on this. And if you have, say, a header, and you want to redact that header, you can come here and repeat mark across pages. And what that'll do is you can select your odd pages, even pages, or even specify a page range where those words appear and you want them to be redacted. Okay, so let me hit. So now all you do is hit apply, and you get this pop-up. And this is letting you know that once this document is saved, you're not going to be able to retrieve that redacted content. You're also, if you notice here, I have this shut off. You have the ability to sanitize the document. I'm going to go over sanitizing a document in a little more detail in a moment. So for now, I'm just going to hit continue, and I'm going to be asked where I want to save that PDF. Let's put it on the desktop for now. And notice here in the name, the word redacted, if I highlight that, the word redacted is automatically added to that PDF automatically. And then once you hit save, you can grab it from your desktop, but here it is, so you can get now you know exactly what that document is going to look like as a redacted document. Okay, moving up here to redact text and images, you can also find text and redact that. So when you select this feature, you're going to get this pop-up right away, and it informs you that images and line art are not searchable. Okay, so I always like to touch on this. Just make sure that you don't have an image of your phone number for whatever reason somewhere in the PDF, because it won't be redacted. So keep your eye on images. Okay, so when I hit OK, I'll get this left-hand pop-up here. And what this is telling me is where to search and what I can search. Okay, so I can search either in the current document or all PDF documents on my local disks, all disks, or I can break it down to the disks I have, or I can also browse for a location here. I can also search for a single word or phrase. I can search for multiple words or phrases, or I can search for patterns. And patterns are things like credit card numbers, phone numbers, social security numbers, email addresses, things that look the same, essentially. So when I'm going to go back to single words and phrases, and I'll just type in the word company. And I can search for whole word or case sensitive if I want to. But when I hit search and remove text, it's going to show me, oh, wait, I'm going to stop that. I'm going to come back here. I'm going to start that over because I want to go to a shorter way to do that. In the current document, it was getting ready to search all PDFs and every one of my disks. That we'd be here all day. So I'm going to go to search and remove text. Now that's better. Now it shows me right away all the instances where that word company does appear. So if I select one I want to redact, it'll show up over here in the document itself. So if I select a couple of those, they're going to show up in the doc. And then once again, I can come down here to mark check results for redaction. And when I do, here they are. And then I can hit apply. And now that redacted document, that's going to be saved. So I'll just put that on my desktop and save that also. Okay, so moving on. You have the option now to sanitize a PDF. And this is going to allow you to remove hidden information and non-graphic images such as metadata that might be present in the PDF. So when you select sanitized document, you can make quick work of it and just say remove it all, or you can selectively remove. And when you select that, well, when you select remove all, I should say, that's not going to give you any options, but it will save a version of that PDF that is sanitized wherever you want to save it. But for now, we're going to go to selectively remove, and I'll get this left-hand pop-up, and I can see right now, once again, it's just seeing metadata in here. But once again, if I go up here and show all the information, it'll show everything here. Okay, so that didn't pop up. Anyway, it'll show all the information that it showed. So you'll still be able to search for your metadata, any file attachments, anything, any form fields, overlapping objects, things like that. So with this box checked, I can just hit remove. And this is just telling me that once it's gone, it's gone. So now I hit OK, and then that document is there. So now I can have this document, and I'm going to save it to a couple places. One, I'm going to save it to my cloud storage, so I can talk about that. And I'm also going to save it to my OneDrive, because I'm going to show you a little bit about OneDrive in a moment. Okay, so just to review, those are some of the ways that you can ensure security for your PDFs. Okay, the content's yours, and it's yours alone. So unless you want to decide that you want to share it. And you have many options to decide what data you want to share and how you want to make it available. Okay, so I'm going to close out of this. Go back to my recent files. Okay, so here's the file just now that I redacted. And you can see it, you know it's here because of the cloud icon that's next to it. Now, because at the beginning of the session today, I spoke of our seamless experience across desktop, web, and mobile versions, I want to address that for a moment. So Adobe Document Cloud Services makes all of this possible. And this is the complete PDF solution for today's multi-device connected world. Okay, using Acrobat and the Acrobat Reader mobile app with Document Cloud Services, you as organizations can build smarter document workflows, and you can meet the end user demand for mobile solutions. People want to work on their mobile devices wherever they are. Now you can do that, but you can ensure document security across those devices. So in other words, you can work from anywhere with all of Acrobat's security features intact and effective. A little bit more about these files. Document Cloud files are stored in the cloud, and they're automatically labeled private, which means that content is only visible to the end user who uploaded it. An end user has to take explicit actions to share that content, or it's going to remain private. And many of you, you're probably already working in the cloud. Maybe if it's not with Acrobat Pro, it would be with some of your Microsoft applications. So I like to just point out that Acrobat does securely integrate with many Microsoft applications like SharePoint, OneDrive, and with Teams. So I'm going to take a look at that. Okay, so here I am in my Microsoft Teams account. Now, if you look over here on the left-hand panel, got a little bit of Acrobat icon here. So this is Acrobat's integration with Microsoft Teams. So this is going to give users access to PDF workflows within Microsoft Teams. And it's going to enable team members the ability to view, to create, modify PDFs in the cloud in real time. Now, with respect to security, this integration with Microsoft Teams and Acrobat Pro, it's built on Microsoft 365 platform. Okay, but the security of Acrobat features, those are also in place. Teams enforces team-wide and organization-wide two-factor authentication, single sign-on through Active Directory, and encryption of data in transit and at rest. Okay, files that are stored in SharePoint are backed by SharePoint encryption. Notes stored in OneNote are backed by OneNote encryption. So both things, Microsoft 365 and Acrobat security. Okay, so here's my Teams account with the integration with Acrobat. So now I can work in Acrobat within Teams. Now I don't have to bounce back and forth between applications to work with my Teams on files. I can do it right here. And if you're used to Acrobat or with Microsoft Teams, you can do it in an environment that you're familiar with. So with this integration, I can still see my recent files. I can come over here and click Documents. And then I can go ahead and grab documents from my OneDrive or from my Teams or channel storage. I can come back down here to upload, and I can upload a file from Document Cloud or locally from my computer. And I can also see all the tools I have here. So I've got, if I click on all tools, still in my conversion tools, all of my editing tools, and the ever-present protection tool. So this Acrobat functionality within Teams, it's going to allow me to edit, comment on, protect, and share a PDF with my team members. It's really easy to do, so I'm going to show that to you. All I do is come up to my team, and I'm going to come down here. Sorry, be right with you. I'm going to come down here, start a new conversation, and here's my Acrobat icon. So when I click on that, that's going to allow me to grab a PDF either from my Teams and Channels account, from my OneDrive, or I can upload it from my computer. So I'll go ahead and just grab one from my computer. Let's see, grab that, open that up. Okay, now I'm going to share that, and it'll appear in my post. So now I can open it. Now, when I open this, I can take advantage of some of Acrobat's features now. So I can come up here to my Edit button, and I can export this PDF. I can organize pages. Organize any pages. I can combine any files if I want to. I can compress this PDF, so I want to share it a little easier. It depends on how big it is. That might be really appropriate to do that. So my experience with my team in Teams is pretty fluid. And then once again, I can still protect that PDF. And I have some other functions I can do. So I can come over here to my comment tool. If I want to leave a comment, I can leave one. I'm pretty brief, so I'll just say, how's this, and post this. I can also come in here and use the highlighter tool and highlight tools. I can come in and circle any things. Maybe I just don't want to have that. So I can leave these notes for people to look at. And then once I hit close, then this is going to appear in my post. And now I can share it. When I hit share, I can share that with anybody in my team. So within Teams, I can securely use this PDF to create a working dialogue between the team members. And with respect to the security of this dialogue, when a PDF is shared and then collaborated on with Acrobat's integration with Microsoft Teams, that document is sent to Adobe Document Cloud servers in that region in which that user is located for transient processing, and then it's deleted within 24 hours. And this document remains encrypted both in transit and at rest during this process. And then the modified document will be saved back into the original location. So once again, I know I say this a lot, but that's what we're here for today. Security is at the forefront of Acrobat Pro, whether as a standalone application or as part of a Teams experience. Okay, so one more thing. I know I've been talking a while, but I want to cover this one thing because Acrobat now gives you the ability to request for signatures within Acrobat. And so that security now extends into that process. So if I come over to my tools, now I can go to request signatures. And I'm going to show you what this looks like because it's pretty cool. So I'm going to send this to James T. And I can leave a subject and a message. Please review and complete this document. And I'm going to select my file. So I'll just go ahead and grab this one from my desktop. I could have grabbed it from my OneDrive. I could have grabbed it from my Teams account. Just for today, I just grabbed it from my desktop. Now, when I click More Options, this is going to activate that integration with Acrobat Sign. And I'm not going to cover too much of Acrobat Sign today, but I do want to touch on the security features that it does provide. So this is when I'm sending out a document for signature. So I'm going to include James, and I'm going to add myself. Now, James, there's a couple roles that he can play here. He can be a signer, he can be an improver, an acceptor, he can be a certified recipient, a form filler, or he can also delegate his signature. Also, myself, I can be any one of those roles also. I'm going to include this NDA, and so that requires two signatures, so I want to make sure we're both here. Now, with respect to security, there are a few things you can do. You can force James to authenticate just by having the email or with a password, or with KBA. So we have a company who would set up a list of questions. So for instance, I'm from Cincinnati. One of the questions would be, where are you from? So I would answer that correctly or not have access to the PDF. Can also authenticate with his phone through a text or mobile or Acrobat Sign. So if he does have an account, that he could sign in and authenticate that way. So today we're going to make James have a password. So we have a long one here. I can make it long because the meter told me to do that. So when I hit OK, that's how James is going to authenticate. Now, moving down, you can see here's the message I can leave, and my file, the NDA v7, is already attached. Now, I have options over here to protect the document itself with a password. So I would just set the password and then confirm that. Now, whereas this protects the email, requires the password to get an email, this requires a password to access the document itself. You can also set a completion deadline, and I want to set reminders. So the whole tenet of getting digital signatures with Acrobat and Acrobat Sign is to keep business moving forward. So if you've got somebody who's lagging behind, you can give them that gentle nudge to get on the stick here. So every day, every week, every business day, every other, third, or fifth day. So you can set those reminders if you want to. Okay, next, I'm going to come down here to preview and add signature fields. So when I hit next, what's happening now is Acrobat Sign is processing this document, and it gives me the ability to do two things. Okay, the first thing is just to look at it, make sure that everything looks like I want it to look. Okay, it does. And if you notice up here on the left-hand side, you see in blue that form fields were detected. This is our artificial intelligence, Adobe Sensei, talking to me and saying, hey, these look like they're should be fillable form fields, but they're not. So would you like me to make those fillable form fields for you? I'm all about AI, cutting time out of things, so I'm going to just hit the button, and now they populate. Okay, even so, I'm still going to check these because there's a couple things I already know that I want to change. So I just like to double check stuff. So this is going to be assigned to James T., the first signer, and his field type is signature, and he is required to sign this. And I could set terms and conditions for James. I'm not going to do that today. It's not as applicable. And hit OK. And now I want to make sure that this is also going to James, but this is his name field, not a blank field. And the reason I'm doing this, I'll do the same thing with this date, is because these will auto-populate when James signs. Now coming over to this one, I'm going to double click. Remember, there's two signers and I'm one of them. This is assigned to James, so I'm going to assign it to me. And notice that the color changes. So you'll always have a graphic representation of how many signers you have, either by the whole bar changing or by the little triangle up here in the top right. And now I want this to be my name, not my signature twice. And I want to make sure that it goes gray, turns to me. And then I want to do the same thing with the date. Okay, so everything looks great. I've got my document. Everything looks fine. I'm going to go ahead and hit send. All right, so now when I hit send, a couple things are happening. One, I'm seeing this, this tells me that I, as a sender, this has been sent out successfully for signature. And I get an email that says that too, that you just heard the bell, I'm sure. Now, this will go to the first recipient with James. James is never at his desk. James is always on his tablet. So he'll just get this email. He does not have to download anything at all or purchase anything. He just has an email. He can hit review and sign in the center. And in a minute now, because remember, I set that password, it's saying, hey, you have a document to look at, but you need to enter the password to access it. So let me put this in here. Told you it was a big one. Okay, so now that gives James the ability to access passwords being verified. Sorry, my browser is timed out. I don't think so. Let me come back here and grab this, hit review and sign. There it is. Okay, so now James can just come in here, and this is the NDA. So he can come down and sign here. We're going to edit the signature. So James has a few ways he can sign. He can type in a signature, he can draw in a signature, or he can upload an image. So what we're going to do, just for clarity's sake, is allow him to just type in a signature. and hit apply, and OK. And you can see here that the name and the date have auto-populated. And all James has to do now is hit finish, and then tap the sign in the top right hand, and then he's done. Okay, so James gets this notification that he can now download a copy of this NDA if he wants to from his email. He's also going to get a copy when it is signed by me along with an audit trail. So what happens now is in my email, as the sender, I will get, let me see, pop this up. I'll get an email that tells me, sorry about that, that my signature is required. So all I do is come over here and I'll click to review it. And when I scroll down, I'll see that James has already signed it. So now all I need to do is just click here to sign it. I'm going to edit my signature. Now I have 4 options because James was on mobile. It wasn't redundant to show him that. So I can also type, draw, or put in my image, and then I'm going to type it. Now I hit apply, hit OK, and click to sign. Okay, now once again, I'll get an email that tells me that everything has been signed, and not only has it been signed, but I can now view that document. So it might take it a minute to come in. It's coming, I know it. See if I have one. I'll grab this one. Okay, no, I really wanted to have one that came in. So anyway, I'll be able to open this up and I'll be able to see that document as it is. So here's the document, and when I go down, well, this is the wrong one. I would see that James has signed this document, and I also have signed that document. Now I'll also get an audit trail, and here it is. Okay, so here's the document. Sorry, email is just a little slow. So I'll be able to scroll down and see here's James has signed, here's the date today. I also have signed. Now I also will be able to get, let me come back here. Oh, sorry. All right, I'll also be able to grab an audit trail here. So when I open up this audit trail is really great because what it does is it'll show me all of the steps of the signing ceremony. So when it was created, when it was mailed to James, the first signer, when he viewed it and when he entered his password, and then when he was able to sign it and when it was sent back to me, and when I viewed it and signed it, and then when it was completed. So you see all of the steps of the signing ceremony, no matter how many people you have in that signing ceremony. Also in this audit report, you've got a transaction ID, or otherwise known as an agreement ID. So you can see that. Now up here in blue, this is your money shot. Okay, this tells you that this document is certified legal, which means it's going to hold up in any court of law. And so how secure is this? Well, it's protected. Essentially, your digital signature and that PDF document, they're cryptographically bound and secured with a tamper evidence seal. So, and that's unique to you. So you use a unique digital certificate and a PIN to easily validate your credentials. So if you go over to your signature panel, you can validate any signatures. And one thing I like to point out over here is this lock here. Once again, security is huge for you. It's huge for us. So if you want to drill down and learn more about the security, you can go to the permission details, and then you can go through all the different details and see what you think. One thing that I point out always is this one here. Changing that document is not allowed. So what that proves is that the integrity of the legality of this agreement is good for all time. It's going to stand up in any court of law at all. Okay, so that is it for me today. I just want to mention that mostly this was a high-level overview of Acrobat security features. There's so many options with each security feature, and I encourage you, just get in there, explore, and you're going to see your appreciation for Acrobat security. It just grows with each feature that you test in your environment. So I just wanted to thank you all for being here.
Thanks, Alex. Appreciate it. This is Alex number 1 back. So attendees, hopefully you got a lot out of this. As you can tell, there's a lot of control available within Acrobat Pro, whether at the document level, user level, or at the organization level. Lots of ways to protect your information, right? A lot of companies put information out for public consumption. Sanitizing, looking through those, making sure that information is controlled is very important. The redaction tool, right? I think we've all seen in the news certain instances of information not being properly redacted and getting available, much to the embarrassment of many people. So, redaction tool, a very key tool within our product set. Sanitizing the documents, making sure that all of that data is stripped out that you want to not get into the hands of anyone else. Alex did a great job of showing the collaboration within Microsoft Teams and the security and control that you have within there, and then just the detail of permission and security and control within sending for signatures. So, as Alex mentioned, kind of just the tip of the iceberg of a lot of the stuff that Acrobat can do for you. So, great job, Alex. Thank you. Appreciate it. We'll open it up to any questions. If any of the attendees have any questions for us in our last few moments, we'd be happy to help answer those.
I see one in the chat. It says, does this mean that the authentication signature works? That file must be stored in the Adobe cloud. With respect to the signatures, no. The answer is no. So it needs to go to the Acrobat Sign servers for 1 day, because what that does is that completes the signing ceremony and completes the legalness of that document. After that, you can save it locally if you want to. And you can also set data governance in order to just say, okay, after 1 day, we want to make sure that gets deleted.
Aubrey, that was the only question I saw. Did you see any other questions, or does anybody have any others?
Yes, thank you, Alex and Alex. That was a great presentation. We can give it another minute here. If any of you have any questions, please feel free to pop those in the chat for Alex and Alex. We'll give it another minute just to see. Okay, team. Well, I'm not seeing any questions on my end, so I want to thank you all for your time. This was a very informative webinar. To all our attendees, thank you for joining today. We really appreciate you being here. And Alex and Alex, thank you for taking time out of your day to present to us.
Absolutely. Have a great day, everybody.
Thanks, everyone. Take care.
Bye, everyone.